The sun rose over the village, casting golden light on the fields and the small homes scattered across the land. I walked through the narrow paths, my heart heavy with questions that had no answers, seeking solace in the unknown. The villagers whispered of a great teacher who had arrived, a man whose wisdom could illuminate even the darkest hearts. I found him seated beneath a sprawling Bodhi tree, his presence serene, his gaze piercing yet filled with compassion. The disciples gathered around him, their faces a mixture of reverence and curiosity, awaiting the words that would transform them. I hesitated at the edge of the gathering, unsure if I belonged among those seeking the truth of existence. The Buddha turned his gaze toward me, his eyes meeting mine, as if he had been expecting my arrival all along. "Come closer," he said, his voice gentle yet commanding, a melody that resonated with the deepest parts of my soul. I stepped forward, my footsteps hesitant, my heart pounding, as if the weight of my loneliness had become unbearable. The Buddha gestured for me to sit, and I found a place among the disciples. Feeling both exposed and comforted, he began to speak, his words flowing like a river, carrying wisdom that seemed to touch every corner of my being. "Loneliness," he said, "is a shadow that follows us, whispering doubts and fears, feeding the illusion of separation." His words struck a chord within me, as if he had reached into my heart and named the pain I carried. "It is not the world that isolates us," he continued, "but our own minds, clinging to the idea of self." The disciples nodded, their faces reflecting the truth of his words, as if they too had felt the sting of solitude. The Buddha told the story of a man who lived in a grand palace, surrounded by wealth but consumed by loneliness. Despite his riches, the Buddha said, the man felt empty, for he had built walls that kept others at bay. The story mirrored my own life, my own choices, and I felt a pang of recognition that was both painful and liberating. Loneliness, the Buddha said, is an opportunity to see the threads that connect us, to rediscover the unity of existence. He spoke of a merchant who, in his greed, had lost his family but found redemption through acts of kindness. The merchant, the Buddha said, shared his wealth with strangers, and in doing so, he found a family among them. His words painted a picture of a world where connection was not a luxury but a necessity, a truth I had forgotten. The disciples, captivated by the unfolding story, leaned further forward, their attention unwavering. One night, a great flood swept the land, and the merchant's wealth vanished in the fury of the waters, Buddha narrated. His words were a balm to my soul, a reminder that I was not alone, that I was part of something greater. The Buddha turned to me, his gaze piercing yet kind, as if he could see the depths of my loneliness. "You," he said, "have carried the weight of solitude, but now you must let it go and embrace the world." Tears welled up in my eyes, not from sadness but from the overwhelming sense of being seen, understood, and accepted. Buddha's words resonated with an undeniable truth, stirring an awakening among his disciples. Attachment to fleeting securities blinds us to the profound richness of what lies in the present. Buddha said. He spoke of a farmer who shared his last grain with a hungry traveler, finding joy in the act of giving. The farmer, the Buddha said, discovered that in giving, he received more than he had ever imagined, a sense of belonging. His stories were not just tales but lessons, each one a mirror reflecting the truths I had long ignored. The disciples listened intently, their faces a canvas of emotions, each one finding their own meaning in the Buddha's words. The practice of detachment is not to renounce life but to embrace it without undue dependence, he explained. Live with gratitude for what you have, but do not let it define your happiness or identity. Reconnect, he said, not just with others but with yourself. For in knowing yourself, you will know the world. His words were a call to action, a challenge to step out of the shadows of loneliness and into the light of connection. The lantern illuminates his way, but he knows it cannot control the terrain ahead. His words, like seeds, began to sprout understanding within the hearts of those present. In the same way, material possessions are tools for our journey but must not be mistaken for the journey itself. 1. Disciple, Yashodhara, raised her hand with quiet determination. Another day, another sunrise, and the village awakened to the rhythm of life, its people bustling with daily tasks. I walked through the fields, the scent of earth and dew filling the air, my heart seeking answers once more. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of serenity, drawing disciples like moths to a flame. I joined the gathering, my mind eager to absorb the wisdom that flowed from his lips like a gentle stream. The Buddha began to speak, his voice calm yet powerful, each word carrying the weight of timeless truth and compassion. Kindness, he said, is not merely an act but a force, a bridge that connects hearts and heals wounds. His words resonated deeply, stirring memories of moments when kindness had touched my life and transformed my perspective. The Buddha shared the story of Nalagiri, a fierce elephant unleashed to harm him, a tale of courage and compassion. Nalagiri, he said, was consumed by rage, yet kindness calmed his storm, revealing the purity within his heart. The disciples listened intently, their faces reflecting the profound impact of the Buddha's teachings on their understanding of kindness. Kindness, the Buddha continued, is outrageous because it defies the ego, challenging the barriers we build to protect ourselves. His words painted a picture of a world where kindness was a revolutionary act, a force that could transform lives. The Buddha turned his gaze toward me, his eyes filled with understanding, as if he knew the struggles I carried. You, he said, have felt the sting of isolation, but kindness can be your path to reconnecting with the world. Ananda's voice, soft yet filled with conviction, emerged once more. Master, your words guide us to a life free of despair, rooted in the truth of the present moment. Let your kindness be bold, he said, for it is the antidote to loneliness and the foundation of unity. He spoke of a farmer who shared his last jug of water with a thirsty traveler. Finding joy in giving, the farmer, the Buddha said, discovered that in giving, he received more than he had ever imagined, a sense of belonging. His stories were not just tales but lessons, each one a mirror reflecting the truths I had long ignored. It was a promise carried within each disciple, a commitment to embody the truths imparted by their master. Buddha's voice, now a tender whisper, delivered his final words of the day. Live each moment with awareness, for it is within the present that life's true wealth is discovered, he said. The gathering dispersed, but the teachings lingered, etching themselves into the essence of each heart. His words were a call to action, a challenge to step out of the shadows of loneliness and into the light of kindness. I left the gathering that day with a sense of purpose, a resolve to practice kindness boldly and fearlessly. And thus, the episode concluded, leaving behind an eternal echo of truth and a legacy of mindful living. Another day. Under the vast expanse of the sky, Buddha and his disciples embarked on a serene countryside journey. The tranquil path led them to a small village, where a farmer waited, his face etched with worry. Oh, blessed one, I have toiled my whole life, yet my fields yield less with each passing year, he lamented. I walked through the fields, the scent of earth and dew filling the air, my heart seeking answers once more. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of serenity, drawing disciples like moths to a flame. I joined the gathering, my mind eager to absorb the wisdom that flowed from his lips like a gentle stream. The Buddha began to speak, his voice calm yet powerful, each word carrying the weight of timeless truth and compassion. Interconnectedness, he said, is the essence of existence. The truth that binds us all in the cosmic dance of life. His words resonated deeply, stirring memories of moments when I felt the invisible threads connecting me to others and the world. The Buddha shared the story of a farmer who, in a drought, shared his last jug of water with a thirsty traveler. The farmer, he said, discovered that in giving, he received more than he had ever imagined, a sense of belonging. In a distant valley lived a craftsman who built tools with utmost precision and care. He started. However, the craftsman lamented when his tools wore out, longing for their eternal durability. Buddha narrated. His words painted a picture of a world where unity was not a luxury but a necessity. A truth I had forgotten. The Buddha turned his gaze toward me, his eyes filled with understanding, as if he knew the struggles I carried. You, he said, have felt the sting of isolation, but interconnectedness can be your path to reconnecting with the world. Tears welled up in my eyes, not from sadness but from the realization that interconnectedness was the key to healing. Flexibility, however, is like bamboo, swaying with the winds, yet standing firm in its roots, he added. Yashodhara, another disciple, raised a thoughtful question. He spoke of a merchant who shared his wealth with strangers, finding joy in the act of giving and receiving. The merchant, the Buddha said, discovered that in sharing, he found a family among those he once considered strangers. His stories were not just tales but lessons, each one a mirror reflecting the truths I had long ignored. The disciples nodded, their faces a canvas of emotions, each one finding their own meaning in the Buddha's words. Just as rivers carve their path through mountains, so must we flow with life's ever-changing currents, he elaborated. The disciples nodded in unison, their hearts embracing the teachings that illuminated their master's profound understanding. Interconnectedness, he said, is the bridge that connects us, the force that unites us, the truth that heals us. His words were a call to action, a challenge to step out of the shadows of loneliness and into the light of unity. Do not place your faith solely in what the earth provides but in the strength of your spirit, he added. His words seemed to lift the weight from the farmer's shoulders as a newfound hope kindled within his weary heart. Master, how can I nurture this resilience within myself? The farmer asked, his voice tinged with humility. Buddha's response carried a deep wisdom that resonated through the quiet village. Resilience grows through mindfulness, the practice of living in harmony with the present moment, he explained. When you accept the impermanence of all things, you free yourself from the burden of fear and attachment, Buddha added. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.